Hello fellow Italian language students, welcome back, and today I'm gonna teach you the wonders of Italian Gerundio. To put it simple, Gerundio, it is the verb form that translates the English ing form, meaning that Gerundio often translates actions in progress. In fact, Gerundio in Italian, it is an indefinite verb form, which means that it's not going to be conjugate based on the various personas io, tu, noi, voi, essi. That doesn't apply to Gerundio. Simply, it doesn't change depending by personas. That makes it easier to understand and to use in Italian language. Gerundio, it is formed in Italian language by adding specific endings to the stem form of the verb. Verbs belonging to the first conjugation, so ending by are, will form gerundio, switching are for ando. To talk, parlare, are first conjugation, its gerundio form becomes parlando, talking. Easy enough. Verbs belonging to the second conjugation, so ending by ere, will form gerundio, switching ere for endo. To fall, cadere, becomes cadendo, falling, while verbs belonging to the third conjugation, so ending by ire, will form gerundio in endo as well. Dormire, to sleep. Dormendo, sleeping. Gerundio exists in two tenses, present and past, presente and Passato. Gerundio Presente, it is formed as I showed you, and it is used when the action described by Gerundio happens at the same time of the main action. Don't worry, it is simpler than you think. I will drop an example that makes things easier to understand. Camminando per strada, io ho incontrato un amico. Translation could be, while walking down the street, I've met a friend. Means the main action is I've met a friend. Io ho incontrato. But there's more. I said walking, camminando per strada. So I conjugate the second verb that describes the secondary action, adds more information to my interlocutor, however, is not exactly belonging to the main sentence, because I could have said io ho incontrato un amico, I've met a friend. So the secondary sentence has its own verb, camminando, and describes the matter of fact that camminando, walking, happened at the same time when I met the friend. So, my students, that's the main function of gerundio. Gerundio semplice. To conjugate an action that happens simultaneously to another one. However, there's also Gerundio Passato, past gerundio, and it is formed using auxiliary verbs. So, Gerundio Passato, it is formed using the gerundio of essere or avere, depending by the very verb, followed by past participle of the main action. Gerundio Passato, of course, it is used when the secondary action happened simultaneously to another action, but in the past. Gerundio Passato, it is often used to conjugate ingoing action, action that started and lasted for an indefinite amount of time, but that happened in the past, compared to the tense that I'm speaking right now to my interlocutor. Okay, don't worry. Just translate me this. Having finished the work, I left the company. Easy peasy. Wait, what? Oh, yes, it is, of course. It is still valid. My promo code you can find here in the description, the link where you can download L'Atudio app. It is a very cool application for your mobile phone that will help you in your journey to learn Italian. And of course, you can use my promo code to get additional 30 free days. Having finished the work means that I started the work it lasted for some amount of time that I'm not going to specify, and after that action happened the main clause, that I left the company. In Italian will be avendo finito il lavoro, io uscii dall'azienda. Avendo finito, having finished. You notice the similarities? Avendo finito, avendo, avere, gerundio, finito, past participle. Yes, exactly. Happens like in English. I've described an action that happened, lasted, and is concluded at the time that I'm speaking to my interlocutor. Another challenge. Translate me this. Having arrived late, I missed the train. Essendo arrivato in ritardo, persi il treno. Io persi il treno. Arrivare, to arrive, wants essere as its auxiliary verb. That's why you use essendo arrivato. Again, it describes an ongoing action started, that lasted for a specific amount of time, and then it ended as I missed the train. So, to sum up, Gerundio Presente, I'm doing something as something else happens, while Gerundio Passato, to describe an ongoing action that lasted for some amount of time, but happened before the main clause. Gerundio can be used to specify mode on how something happened. Lui ha risolto il problema usando la logica. He solved the problem using logic. We exploit this caveat of using gerundio, describing the simultaneously happening of another action to describe how he solved the problem. And of course, gerundio can describe the temporal relationship of two actions. She called crying. Lei telefonò piangendo. Again, the simultaneously happening of two actions. While phoning, she was crying. Gerundio tense can also be used to specify the cause of an event, a cause that triggered an event. Studiando con impegno, otterrai risultati. Studying with effort, you will obtain results. Gerundio introduces a condition needed to trigger the main clause, having good results. Gerundio can also be used to describe mean. Lui ha aperto la porta forzando la serratura. He opened the door, forcing the lock. Forzando, forcing. We use gerundio to indicate that two actions happened simultaneously. While he was opening the door, he was also forcing the lock. However, in this context, it is used to better describe how the main action has been performed. Finally, some irregular verbs that form gerundio in odd ways, like fare becomes farendo. No, I don't think so. It is facendo, fare, to do. Dire, to say, it is dicendo. Bere, to drink. Bevendo. Tradurre, to translate, traducendo. Produrre, to produce. Producendo. Essere, remember it is essendo. And avere, it is avendo. Ladies and gentlemen, class is dismissed. Remember to use my code, I leave down in the description, to download the language learning app called Studio and use this code to get extra 30 days free in supporting of your journey in studying a new language. Remember to subscribe to my channel and watch other videos, but most importantly, remember, please speak like a genius. Bye bye.